Welcome to another Saint Spotlight. Today's guest is Dr. Paul Tenkotte, a current professor at Northern Kentucky University and a former faculty member at Thomas More. Dr. Tenkotte is a Thomas More alum, earning his undergraduate degree in 1982 before going on to achieve a master's degree and doctorate at the University of Cincinnati. As a side gig to his teaching duties, Dr. Tenkotte is the curator of the R. Rich History column for the Northern Kentucky Tribune. Thanks for joining us today, Dr. Tenkotte.
Thank you, Judy, for asking me to be here.
I would like to have a short history behind your career path, and were there any important turning points along the way?
I think the most important turning point for me as a student at Thomas More was the opportunity to have internships. And one of the places that I did intern was at the Beringer Crawford Museum. I was trying to decide between law school or graduate school, and I thought, I had received a Taft Fellowship to the University of Cincinnati, and it occurred to me that, I liked working at the museum. Would probably like teaching, and that if I went to graduate school and didn't like it, I could stay, get my MA, and then, make a different decision, go in a different direction. But it turns out that I liked graduate school, and I decided to stay for the Ph.D. And another real turning point was Dr. Raymond Hebert offered me the opportunity to teach in summer 1985 at Thomas More, and I had finished off my master's degree. I was going on to work towards my Ph.D., and it was a wonderful new course that I developed. It was called The History of American Architecture. And then I think I was really very fortunate, and it was fortuitous for Ray Hebert as well. Ray Hebert was named the Dean of Thomas More College in summer of 1987, and those were during the days that, there was only one dean. He really was the internal person in charge underneath the president. So the history department desperately needed someone for fall. Literally, it was, 5-6 weeks away. Classes were being offered. And I had already been through a search. I started in the fall of 1987, and in fact, I didn't finish my PhD until 1989. And it was really kind of amusing how I ended up teaching what was then really a new course. It was called World Civilization. It turns out I did a very good job with that, and Sister Mary Phillip in the department, who was the department chair, and Ray there were very pleased. I was awarded Outstanding Teacher of the Year a couple of years later in the academic year of 1989-90. And then Ray was really interested, and the president as well, in starting a international studies program. It was still kind of a new and innovative and exciting thing. And they turned to me and said, "Can you do this?" And I said, "I guess I can." I served for 10 years as the director of international studies and really formed, with the support of Ray Hebert as dean, our sister schools abroad in Ireland, and one in France, and one in Japan, and I believe one in China, and one in Puerto Rico. And we also developed programs of study, like summer study abroad, and even eventually about an $800,000 endowment. And so we also formed a bachelor's and an associate degree in international studies, and an ESL, an English as a Second Language program. That was a great deal of fun. I did that for 10 years until 2001. I eventually became chair of the Department of History, and then I left in 2009 after 23 years full-time at Thomas More. To become chair of history, public history, social studies, geography, black studies, and eventually women's and gender studies at Northern Kentucky University.
Well, you were in the right place at the right time, and we were very fortunate you were here.
I very much enjoyed the quality of our students and the colleagues and the friends that I made among the faculty and the staff, it was always in my mind a place of great integrity. People were genuine. Kind of underneath all of that was the sort of the Christian emphasis, the Catholic emphasis of things.
What would your advice be for today's students?
I think in terms of trying to find a school, you need to find some place where you're going to feel comfortable, that fits you as a person. So what stands out in my mind about my student experience is that there were dedicated, caring faculty. There were small classes, but we had a wide variety of classes. And there were lots of organizations. And the professors really cared about us learning how to analyze and synthesize and write well and communicate, verbal, give presentations. All of that was really involved. And sometimes it's those first impressions that are important. And sometimes it's kind of a developing relationship that you have through siblings or friends with a school or a place.
As a historian, tell us about something you're currently working on that you are really passionate about.
I am very passionate about assisting Ray Hebert and Dave Schroeder and Tom Ward on the centennial history of Thomas More University. And I first proposed to them when I heard of the project. I do a lot of editing. By this time in my career, I've actually authored and edited 14 books, contributed chapters to 8 additional books, and literally written hundreds of articles for a wide range of media, as well as contributed to like 20 television documentaries, including 2 Emmy Award-winning ones in the PBS. And I also had this weekly column in the Northern Kentucky Tribune entitled Our Rich History. And I approached Ray and Dave and said, would you be interested in me publishing the vignettes on a weekly basis? And the benefits of that would be, hey, people become interested in the project before it is actually published as a book. And they'll start getting in contact with you and saying, we have photographs, we have stories, and that's exactly what has happened. Already people are loving it and engaging in terms of other articles they'd like to see, or photographs they have, or memories they have of having been a student of Thomas More. And I think the really cool thing is this is a wonderful opportunity for Ray and Dave and Tom and I to work together on a project.
Thank you so much for being our Saint Spotlight.
I really went to work for Thomas More because I admired Ray Hebert and Sister Phillips so much. They were my mentors. They were honest and genuine